Hello everybody, my name is Snipiness Fun, and I welcome you all back to this next video I want to present to all of you here on YouTube. And it's going to be yet another video about the game Jump Force. I just did a video talking about my thoughts on the roster, the pros and cons, what I liked, what I disliked, what I thought was good, what I thought was lacking and or missing. Look at that video first if you want to get my thoughts on what we know about the roster and what I like and dislike about it before you even go into this video. Or you can do it the other way around. I don't really care. You can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to force you on anything. But this next video is also going to be another video on Jump Force. This time I'm going to be talking specifically about the DLC because I'm going to give my thoughts and my predictions on who I think these 9 DLC characters we know are coming for, Jump Force. Now, I'm only taking into account we know that 9 are coming. If they want to do a Season 2 or a Season 3 of it down the road, so be it, there you go. But so far we only know that 9 DLC characters are coming, so I'm only taking into account and predicting characters based off us only getting these 9 and not getting any future DLC. If I knew we would get a second or third, pack or season of the DLC, I would probably pick certain characters in here and then balance it out by putting characters later in different seasons like they did like in Street Fighter or Tekken and stuff like that. But I'm only doing this, and I only did these 9 predictions based off these are the only 9 we would get, and there probably won't be, and there isn't guaranteed to be another season or so of DLC for this game. So yes, that's what I just want to get that out there first, because sometimes people are like, okay, there's 9 characters guaranteed, but there probably going to be more afterwards. And there might be. Who knows? We might get more DLC characters later on. I have no idea. But I'm only going into this prediction video and only giving my thoughts and predicting that these are the only 9 we will get, and no one else coming after this until they decide to make a 55th anniversary game for this, for Weekly Shonen Jump. So there you go. But yes, this is it. This is Snipiness Fun's 9 predictions, the 9 prediction spots for the Jump Force DLC. Now, when I went into doing this before I even get started, I wanted to kind of go off of like rumors as well, characters that were rumored to get in, characters that were leaked to get in, stuff like that, characters that were talked about leading up to it, because we were told pretty much early on that there's going to be 9 DLC characters. So I'm assuming some of these characters were planned during the development of the game, and then they were just held off as DLC, which is a cheap practice, but we've seen numerous games do that, and they kind of want to do it so they can get certain characters ready. So certain characters are more ready for like the story mode, for the base game, and then they have ideas for characters that they put in DLC. So I'm taking it that some of these characters were in the works for quite some time, and that's probably why we got some of these rumors, because before the 40 character roster limit was set, okay, this is done, there's no more characters, and people were like, wait a minute, there's like certain characters like Suna and Medaka and all these other characters that are freaking, referenced and said to be in the game and rumored to be in the game by certain people that have the leaks and look into stuff, and people on YouTube that reveal the information and whatnot. I'm assuming that's partially going to be it. That's where I went with on this prediction, so don't blame me for going with this way. I'm just thinking like these characters were looking into the development, seeing these characters were going to be announced, but not knowing they were going to be DLC instead of the base roster. So I went in with that mindset when I went into predicting these characters, and I just revealed 2 of them off the bat. My first 2 characters I think are going to be DLC are going to be Suna from Hitman Reborn and Medaka from Medaka Box. 2 major franchises from the 2000s era of Weekly Shonen Jump, which is severely lacking in the roster, besides basically Bleach, unless you're talking about the anime, of the said series like One Piece and Naruto and whatever during the 2000s. But this is also supposed to be a game that's mostly based off the manga, and yeah, there you go. So I was thinking we need to beef up the 2000s roster, and these are 2 majorly missing franchises that I've seen since the day this game was announced. People asking for Suna from Hitman Reborn and Medaka from Medaka Box. So put them in there. You get a major female rep. Not saying I want to include her because she's a female, but she's the main character of her manga, and she's a majorly character that could bring in an interesting moveset, and she's from a popular series. She was in J-Stars, and a lot of people probably got to know her from J-Stars, and they probably went to read the manga or went to watch the anime, and then the series became more popular, and she was popular enough to make it into the 45th anniversary of Weekly Shonen Jump. So why would they not put her at some point in Weekly Shonen Jump's 50th anniversary game, Jump Force? I think she's almost a shoo-in for DLC at this point. And then Suna, Hitman Reborn is also a really major franchise, really a major series that was in Weekly Shonen Jump. A popular anime, a popular manga, a cool character. They have an interesting moveset. He's been in numerous Shonen Jump crossovers over the time. He was definitely in like the Shonen Jump Stars or Jump Superstars from like the DS era, and I forgot if he was in J Stars, but I think he might have been his series was represented as the assist category, or he was Playboy. I forgot now. It's been a while since I played J Stars. But why would you not include that? He's a major franchise, just like Medaka. You should, and I think he's almost a shoe-in too, given how much he's been talked about. So I'd say my first two are definitely Suna from Hitman Reborn and Medaka from Medaka Box. My third one is a franchise I feel is definitely major enough to get a character. It got a character in the 45th anniversary game, and that'd be Assassination Classroom. Koro Sensei was in J Stars Victory Versus. Why don't we have an Assassination Classroom character in this, given that it's been a majorly popular franchise? Now, I'm not saying it needs to be Koro Sensei. I'm saying it should just be a Assassination Classroom character in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be Koro Sensei. And I'm thinking that partially because some of these moves are supposed to be put on created characters, and it's kind of weird thinking of how his moves might be put on one of your created characters, given that he's this god-like tentacle, monster thing, and your character's human or some sort of alien type figure. I don't know. I'm thinking that unless his moves aren't included in the created thing, or some of his moves can be used by normal humans, I don't know. So it could either be Koro Sensei or it could be one of the students, which another major character has been hinted, thought of is a major character from Assassination Classroom is Nagisa. She's one of the other major characters in the series. One of the students, she can use a whole bunch of freaking weaponry, so she could be like Rio from City Hunters. It'd be kind of cool if they don't want to get Koro Sensei to put her in instead. So my third prediction is not necessarily a specific one, but an Assassination Classroom character in general, whether it's Koro Sensei, Nagisa, one of the other students. Preferably, it'd be one of those two, given that they're the two major main protagonists of the series. So there you go. My fourth and fifth one are going to go to a second rep for both My Hero Academia and Black Clover. Now, that's kind of cliche, and everyone jumps on that. But and I still want to see more series represented. And when I get down the line, you're going to see a little bit more series represented further in part in DLC. But I also want to represent the DLC as giving some of these series that only have one or two characters someone extra. I think this DLC, before I even continue, I think this DLC needs to start focusing on franchises that are either A, not represented in Jump Force at all, or B, are only barely represented. So I don't think this DLC should have a Dragon Ball character, a One Piece character, or a Naruto character. And I know that's heresy to probably some of you who want to see Gohan or Sakura or Madara or Usopp or one of the other villains in One Piece or freaking Majin Buu or Broly or whatnot. I'd like to see those characters too, but I also want to see other franchises get either A represented or B represented more. So that's what I was going at with this DLC. I totally excluded those because they got 6 characters already. Just stop. But yes, my fourth and fifth are going to be a Black Clover secondary rep and then My Hero Academia secondary rep. Partially because those are two of the most major ongoing currently manga series from them and anime series from them. And to represent the newer generation, the future of, like, this could be the 50th anniversary, talking about the future, giving more of the future. And there's a couple of new series in there, but they've only represented like, Deku or Asta or stuff like that. So for obviously a second My Hero Academia rep, I think 3 very, very likely choices would basically be either All Might, Bakugo, or Todoroki. Those are all 3. It could be any of them. I'd say Bakugo is obviously going to be the main choice because everyone's basically talked about him. He's been kind of hinted at and rumored. So I think Bakugo is like the easiest choice out of those. But All Might and Todoroki still make some sense. And you can always think about one of the villains. One of the villains could very well get in the series too. But I think those are the 3 main ones. That's what I'm saying. That. And then in terms of a secondary Black Clover rep, I have never read nor watched Black Clover yet. It's been on my backlog for anime for quite some time. But I do think it deserves more given how popular it is and how it's loved the series is and how far it's come since its inception. Just like My Hero Academia. That's the reason why these are series that have only started a couple years ago. They should really kind of get pushed a little more in this game. And the obviously 2 choices would either be Yuno or Noelle. I don't know too much about either of the characters, but you got like the main female character or the main rival character. I'd say if they're going to go for Bakugo for My Hero Academia, just put Yuno in there because he's the main, rival pretty much for, Asta. But Noelle is also a major character that can bring in a new moveset, given she's like a magic user and type stuff like that. So that's my fourth and fifth. I just started talking about pushing the future, but also I want to see the game start representing a little bit more of the past. And I mentioned this in my thoughts roster video, given that the series lacks too many old school characters, which you can't talk about the future. You can't just talk about the future. You also have to talk about the past. You have to blend the future and the past, given this is a 50th anniversary game. I'm going to mention a franchise in a second that I think should be in this category, but this is going to be a pretty open category too. Just like I said, Assassination Classroom character doesn't matter if it's Nagisa or Koro Sensei. A secondary rep for My Hero Academia or Black Clover, no matter who it said, it could be Bakugo, Todoroki, Noelle, whatnot. This is for my sixth prediction here, a 70s character, a character from a series from the 1970s. We don't have a single franchise from that era, from that decade, represented in this series yet. And the one I would say stands out the most, given, not only to Eastern fans, to the Japanese fans, but also to the Western fans, would be Kinnikuman. You should represent Kinnikuman. That's my choice. But I'm going to say this spot is more so just for a 1970s character in general. My preferred choice, and the one I think stands out the most, would be Kinnikuman, given it's an old school classic wrestler-esque comedy type character that's super serious too sometimes, so it doesn't fit into the gag category. They said doesn't get included in this game. And you represent a classic series that not only the classic series, it did get reborn, Ultimate Muscle. It did have a series during the 2000s, so it represents the 2000s, and it represents the 70s. There you go. For number 7, given that this franchise was represented in a rumor that they were going to get a secondary character, and given how popular it is, I'm surprised we didn't get one on the base roster, but it's cool to see the franchise get represented again, given it wasn't in J-Stars, but it was in Jump Ultimate Stars and all that DS, is a Yu-Gi-Oh! A secondary Yu-Gi-Oh! Rep. Two obvious choices that really kind of, come out to me is Seto Kaiba, given that he was also heavily rumored and was talked about, he's going to be one of the characters in the game, so he probably was considered. Given he's the main rival for Yugi, why would you not put him in? Blue Eyes White Dragon, he has Obelisk the Tormentor. You can make a really interesting moveset to combat the Dark Black Magician and, Slifer the Sky Dragon. That'd be kind of cool. Or, if you want to put in a more villainous rep, and I'm talking about his Yami version more so than his regular version, given that he's technically a good guy after his arc, Merrick. Yami, Merrick, crazy, obsessed, evil, when they were battling in Battle City. That would be cool, and he has the Winged Dragon of Ra. And it's a villain rep. I think they'd both be kind of cool. So my 7th one will be a secondary Yu-Gi-Oh! Rep, given that it's a major, series really for Weekly Shonen Jump, and has numerous series. It doesn't necessarily have to be a secondary character from the original series with Yugi, but they did the one after with the school. I can't remember. I never kept up with Yu-Gi-Oh! After the original series. Or the one when they're riding on the bikes, or Arc V or whatever. You have different Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. There's 4, 5, 6 of them right now. So you can represent one of the little ones, but if you want to represent a secondary character from Yugi's series, it has to be either Kaiba or Merrick. Because I think those are the two that stand out the most. And you get a villain rep or a rival rep with either of them. My number 8 goes to a either or choice, because I don't see them doing both, because they both kind of fit into the same category. They're gag-esque characters, but that have serious moments in their mangas and their anime. And that's either Toriko or Gintama, Gintoki or Toriko. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think we're going to get both, which is sad given how two major characters think they are. We're in J-Stars, we're in Jump Ultimate Stars, we're major characters in Weekly Shonen Jump. They had popular mangas, popular animes, but no, let's just not include them in the base roster at all. Which really, really shocks me, actually, even though I've never watched nor read either of them. But I know the impact that the series had, and it's surprising. But it's going to be one or it's going to be the other. It's not going to be both. And if I had to personally pick one, I think Gintama Gintoki stands out the most, given he's more of an interesting character. Sorry, Toriko. And then number 9, because the series did get represented as an assist in J-Stars and it's pretty popular manga anime series as far as I know. I've never read it nor watched it. It's been in my backlog. Well, trust me, I have a very freaking long anime backlog to get to on Hulu, Netflix, Crunchyroll, and everything. Alan Walker from D-Greymon. I think they should finally give us that character. It's surprising. It surprised me when he was not in J-Stars that they should probably rectify it now, put him in here now. Now, you can go either way. You can pick a different series here. The spot he was my last included spot. I was trying to figure out number 9, and there's other characters I probably would want over him personally, which is the reason why I'm eventually going to do the 5 list of 5 characters I really want to see in the series that are going to be different from my 9 predictions right now. But I think the series D-Greymon is popular enough and major enough that it should be represented in J-Stars. I mean, in Jump Force, and it should have been playable in J-Stars. I see a lot of people love the series and the manga and the anime, and it just feels weird that they didn't represent that. So there you go. My 9 predictions for the DLC. Medaka from Medaka Box. Suna from Hitman Reborn. A secondary assassination classroom character could be either Koro Sensei or Nagisa. A secondary My Hero Academia rep, it could be Bakugo, Todoroki, or All Might, or a villain or something. A secondary Black Clover rep, Noelle or Yuno. A 70s character, preferably, I think Kinnikuman would be the best choice for both East meets West, and getting interest from both of them, and an interesting moveset too. A secondary Yu-Gi-Oh character, I prefer it be Kaiba or Merrick. Gintoki or Todoroki, not Todoroki, Toriko. Gintoki or Toriko, I would say Gintoki, Gintama, preferably, and then Alan Walker from D-Greymon. It's not the best 9 of not list of 9, but I think I kind of balance it out, representing like middle ground, like series that are around like 90s, 2000s, stuff from like the 2010s, and then stuff from older era stuff. The only thing I didn't really add anymore to was like the 80s, but they got Fist of the North Star and Dragon Ball and City Hunters and Saint Seiya. I think it's pretty good. But 70s is missing something, so that's the reason why I wanted to really include that and show more love for the 2000s, a little bit more love for the 2010s, and somewhat for the 90s. And I balanced it out a bit. I think I did a pretty decent job. What do you guys think? Put in the comment section below. Discuss it down there. Does my 9 sound good? What would your 9 be? And let's stay tuned and see when these characters get announced, and enjoy Jump Force when it comes out next Friday. My name is Cycles Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day. See y'all later.